Hi, my name is Ashton. I'm the founder and product architect of OpenxAI. Today we have really exciting some insights and also showcase some product. We have a special guest as well from NVIDIA. So we're excited to be part of NVIDIA Inception program. So I've got a couple of slides I will share with you in a second. So today is very important to us, especially because this is our second Developer AMA. So I wanted to talk a little bit more beyond the technology, like more philosophical side. Like to me, and most of you definitely agree that AI is one of the most powerful technology that we invented and created. But the big question to all of us, like who owns the AI today? So the answer is quite straightforward. Few corporations currently control the AI. Not only the AI as a technology, but also they are in a big race. If you look at like large open source AI ecosystems, like Hugging Face, also private. Even though they have a lot of open source tools, a lot of things are controlled by a private company and a private entity. So to me, AI more like a political right now. Because there's a West versus East sometimes. If you really think about AI as a tool, as a technology, as a innovation, it's often, it looks like a modern version of the Ark of the Covenant. Whoever has that access to the best AI technologies have the influence and the power. That's why I think a lot of corporations, a lot of governments are pushing for the AI. So if you really take a step back and think about AI concentration, these 4 to 5 companies, not only they control the AI, but they also have the largest a data custodian capabilities. They control most of the world data, and they have the largest data centers. So data centers to me more like the brain. Data custody is for me more like knowledge, and they also happen to have the AI capabilities, AI resources, and also the AI talent, all concentrated in a single, a kind of a small group of people, and we're supposed to trust them. I mean, history has shown over and over again, when you give them so much power and accountability and responsibility, we often make a lot of mistakes. So I think, to me, how AI is being centralized and controlled and given to a small group of people is the same thing what financial markets collapsed in 2008. Back in the days, 2008, you have a small group of large hedge funds and large banks. They had a control to derivatives market and MBS. So these financial markets, didn't have much regulatory oversight. Therefore, they did whatever they want to do, extract the value out of the ecosystem, financial markets. That's what led to financial market collapse. And I see we have the same kind of a situation. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the new big beautiful bill from Trump. It's basically state that a small group of companies, the companies that you see on the screen, they have a full autonomy when it's come to regulations. They have a lot of freedom. It's no longer state level regulatory oversight. It's more like federal, which is kind of a risky. It's the same thing during the financial collapse. Only like a small group of people managed to oversight and regulate themselves, right? So, and the challenge today, AI has a lot more impact in the world compared to like a financial markets. So we have to be very mindful about that. So this is where I kind of say this is a perfect combination for disaster. It's a bit scary compared to financial markets. And now I want to touch base a little bit about protocols, right? The protocols that kind of change how society has evolved in terms of, adopting technology. So internet protocol used to be like a military protocol, which is only access to a small group of people, and then it's opened up to public, and it became a big change for how we communicate, how we do conduct business, and etc. And Ethereum as another protocol enables smart contracts. As a decentralized supercomputer, you can actually create smart contracts, and you can do interact with peer-to-peer without having a middleman or a company. So I think I see OpenxAI, we try to do similar kind of innovation. So OpenxAI is a permissionless AI protocol. It's similar like IPFS or Filecoin. So Filecoin and IPFS, you can host your files like a static files like image. With OpenxAI case, you can do compute workloads and completely permissionless way. You don't have to register as no KYC. And instead of hosting your AI models or training AI models on these centralized cloud, you can use decentralized cloud and decentralized infrastructure. The other aspect, instead of using like a company or maybe bank account, we leverage smart contracts to achieve that. So that's OpenxAI, the permissionless AI protocol. We have some demos. Obviously, we can showcase how the protocol is operate and what are the use cases and etc. So the project itself, we started a few months ago, but the whole infrastructure we've been building for the last 4 years. Just to give you a bit of a background, so I got into Web3 in 2015. One of the project that I worked and be part of it was Phantom or Sonic now. It was L1 chain. So I worked with Phantom and Phantom or Sonic Labs now they call it, for over 2 years between 2018 to 2019. And then after that, I started OpenMesh. OpenMesh is a decentralized cloud, similar like AWS of Web3. So OpenxAI is built on top of OpenMesh network. So consider OpenMesh is a decentralized cloud, and then OpenxAI is the AI protocol on top. So if you look at evolution of the AI industry, I see like really three to four buckets. Everybody familiar with AI space today. Most of AI services are centralized and proprietary. So these are closed source AI technologies. And then you see open source evolution. Like 3 to 5 years ago, we see a lot of boom in the AI, open source AI models and open source AI tools. And then in the Web3 space, we have something called a decentralized AI. Right? To me, decentralized AI kind of open source technologies are managed by a community, and maybe that has a token for a governance purpose or speculation mostly. So, and the evolution, the next iteration or the next evolution of AI industry will be permissionless AI. So what's the difference between decentralized AI and permissionless AI? So think about very permissionless systems today, like Bitcoin is as a great example. So in order to access Bitcoin network, you don't need to get permission from anybody. You can access Bitcoin network by simply connecting your wallet to access. If you want to transfer Bitcoin from your wallet to someone else, you can do that without a middleman. You can do that completely without having a permission in a trustless way. So OpenxAI enable that for whether if you're an AI developer or AI founder, you'll be able to launch your AI service, AI agent, or AI company without a middleman. So we're going to do some demos how you can accomplish that very quickly. So this is what I was talking about, and I want to before I show you a demo, I want to take a step back and showcase like where the AI industry is evolving as a large shift towards to like S curve. So a few years ago, we had this massive hype in the AI space, especially introduction with ChatGPT. Now that hype is over. Therefore, what that means is going through a S curve. So if we have, let's say, some sort of a slowdown in financial markets and economic growth, what will happen is a lot of businesses, a lot of startups, enterprises, they will be looking for more efficient way to get things done. So if you have 10 teams doing some business tasks, and if you can replace that 10 team with some sort of AI innovation, a lot of businesses will look into that. So what I'm thinking, and also based on our research, we see, especially during economic slowdown worldwide, we'll be able to see some good adoption in the AI space, right? So a lot of people will be looking to those AI services, and I think this is where the real growth will happen in the coming months and coming years. And the other thing, when you think about S curve, usually when you go through S curve, uh, the cost has to come down significantly, because today AI, if you look at whether it's AI SaaS products or AI training, it's kind of a limited to a small group of people relative to the rest of the world. If you have to spend, let's say, $1,000 per year accessing like a chatbot, that's not affordable for lot of a lot of regions, right? And if you want to launch your AI company, if you want to set up an AI infrastructure, training and hosting costs can be significantly high. So there are a lot of barriers for a lot of regions to go from 0 to 1. So here it's a benchmark test that we did in order to run, let's say, DeepSeek for 12 months compared to like a traditional cloud. What does that look like from a cost perspective? That's which is I think is important. So bringing the cost down significantly, like up to 80%, it helps entrepreneurs and engineers to build things and experiment things faster without committing significant amount of capital. So, and then, like I mentioned, majority of people who are wanting to get into the AI space or in the AI space that they wanted to build are non-coders. Then specialized AI specialized developers and the talented people. This pool is very, very small. That's why at OpenxAI we thought like we focus on no code, low code solution. So if you want to launch your AI agent or AI services very quickly, you can do that without even knowing the code or having a technical expertise. Thing about the permissionless aspect, it doesn't matter where you are in terms of your region, location, whether you have any geopolitical, let's say, resistance or geopolitical some sort of restrictions. Because imagine if you are in Iran or North Korea, you won't be able to access like traditional Web3 services like ChatGPT. There are like geopolitical restrictions based on where you are and who you are. So the cool thing about permissionless aspect or permissionless, the property of a permissionless, the protocol itself cannot margin or cannot stop anyone using the protocol. So this is the one benchmark that we did comparing make this protocol available to anybody. So this is another a benchmark that we did in terms of censorship resistant. Is a very, very important aspects when it's come to permissionless and trustless parameters. The other important thing I think is a very big topic is the privacy. So when you, let's say, start utilizing a chatbot that managed by a private company like a ChatGPT or maybe Grok, when you're interacting with the chatbot, it collects your data, and the data itself stays within the company. It's like when you upload your photos to Instagram, and they manage all your data. They control. They keep your data. So the same way it goes to the AI industry as well. The challenge with this, we don't know what they are doing with the data. With OpenxAI, what we try to do, we help the end user, manage the whole infrastructure, which means since you manage the infrastructure, I'll explain to you how it works. But since you have the infrastructure fully controlled by the user, same way if you use your hardware wallet to store your, let's say, your crypto. You control your crypto. So we apply the same principle with the OpenxAI. When we launch your AI service or AI agent or AI company, the entire infrastructure, all the way from application layer to entire infrastructure stack, is connected to your wallet, and no one is controlling it, and it's wrapped in a smart contract, and therefore you ultimately control the data going in and also data coming out from the model, which is very, very important. So here's an example of like what's the comparison of OpenxAI to other services, whether it's a Hugging Face or a virtuals. For me, the most important thing is having the trustless and permissionless aspect is very important. And the other thing is having a functional product. A lot of, no disrespect to our my colleagues in the decentralized space, but often the marketing go ahead in time, and you don't have a product. It's just basically a hype. What we focus on actually talking to real users and understanding their pain points, and build a really functional product. So I wanted to give you a really good example of how we extract that pain points to build a technology. So this example, I want to skip that quickly to go to that example, because that's very important to a lot of people. If you think about like launching your AI company or AI services today, so this is the stack. So I think I don't have that slide here, but let me explain. So this particular example, so we have interviewed and we have spoken to a couple of AI startups, especially as the AI startup founders. So one particular example, so these startup based out of Sydney, Australia, and I'm myself based out of Sydney, Australia. So these two founders found a chatbot specialized in universities. So think like a ChatGPT for Australian universities. So the business model for this startup is you can ask 100 questions, and you when you ask more than 100 questions, you have to pay $10 per month. And when we ask these individuals, like these founders, their journey, so it's not about building the technology. Like in order for them to like charge from end customers, so you need to somehow integrate a credit card payment system, right? In order to charge from customers. In order to collect the payments from the credit card payment system, you need to have a bank account. In order to have a bank account, you need to have a company. So in order to have a company, you need to work with lawyers. So before even launching your product, before even launching your startup, you have to do a lot of things in order to go from 0 to 1. And according to our research, like typically, if you want to start a company in Australia, you'll have to spend between $5,000 to $20,000 to setting up your corporation and bank accounts and etc. And imagine if you are from a regions that not necessarily have a bank account, because if you look at in the world, like more than 2 billion, there's unbanked more than 2 billion people around the world. They don't even have a bank account. They cannot even open a bank account. So how could you start your AI company and being able to collect payments and have build a business? So that these are big pain points that we found. So we thought instead of using, let's say, traditional bank account or traditional infrastructure, why don't you use a wallet, right? So you'll be able to collect payments in crypto, whether it's Ethereum or stable coins, and you can receive directly payments to your wallet. And the other cool thing is you can launch your AI company in under like 10 minutes. Our target is about 5 minutes, but let's call it 10 minutes. It doesn't matter where you are, you'll be able to launch it quickly. So instead of having a company, use a smart contract. If you want to protect your intellectual property, have a smart contract that wrap your data and infrastructure, because that's pretty much your IP. Instead of having a bank account, like I mentioned, you can have your wallet, either one wallet or multiple wallets. So now I'm going to do a quick demo. And as a developer or a startup founder, how do you launch your AI company under 5 minutes? So So here's our website, openxai.org. That's the domain name. Here you can find a lot of information. We also have a really cool side-by-side comparison to how we see AI today and how AI should evolve in the future, especially for those who are interested in benchmarking pricing and privacy. There's a table as well. It's all up to date with the data. So let me jump into the core platform. In the core platform, it's a completely Web3 console. You connect your wallet. There's no registration. There's no KYC. First of all, here you have the App Store. In the App Store, you have very most popular foundational LLMs or any open source models, similar like Hugging Face. So you pick your model and you pick your version, which version you want to deploy. And then here is what infrastructure you want to deploy into. So at OpenMesh, since we are OpenMesh Cloud, we have a lots of GPU supply. So that's why we give that for free for people to test. However, if you want to compare pricing, we have a great tool that we developed. We call it Skyscanner for GPU or Booking.com for GPU. So what it does, it scan real time unused GPUs and compute. It's going to give you a list based on the location and the price. So you'll be able to choose a server that is cheaper instead of spending like maybe $1,000 on AWS or Google Cloud. So these resources, so these nodes are coming from OpenMesh. So we'd love to work with decentralized cloud providers like Aether and maybe Akash to provide more compute. So these are nodes that we have across different regions, and these are the supply that we have. And then, as you can see, there are a bunch of servers are available in our database, around 600 pages worth. So you have a lot of supply. So you go to the App Store, you choose your model, choose your infrastructure. In this particular case, I will choose OpenMesh. You choose OpenMesh. And the third step is the tokenization. The example which I gave you before, the two startup founders from Australia who wants to build their ChatGPT for universities, if they come here, if they choose something like this, ERC 4337 ERC wrapper, what it allow you to do, allow you to create your bank account, which is the wallet, and have your subscription so you can provide a peer-to-peer AI services without a middleman. So what that means, I launch this AI service from my bedroom, and anyone can access the AI services without any restrictions. And if I were to charge from the end customer, I'll be able to charge from crypto, or I'll be able to do that by provisioning my smart contracts. Then I can charge whether it's a one-time off payment or it's an ongoing payment. It all can be leveraged and done through smart contract. So in contrast, if you think about that $5,000 to $10,000 or $20,000 that you need to spend on lawyers and bank accounts and setting up a company, so all you're paying here is for a blockchain gas fee. If you want to launch your tokenization or monetization model on Ethereum, you'll be spending maybe $5 to $10 worth of gas fee. And we intend to launch on Base first. So if you launch on the Base chain, your gas fee will be under $1. Like we aim to do under 50 cents. So what that means is instead of spending $20,000 or $5,000 to go from 0 to 1, you'll be spending less than $1 to launch your AI company. Since this is a 3-step process, there's no code required. You can launch your AI services from anywhere in the world. The other cool thing is, since you're hosting on a decentralized cloud, not a centralized cloud, so no one can shut down your services. And you don't need permissions to start your AI company. And you manage the data, you control your business model, you control your bank. It's a beautiful design. So I'll wrap it up. And since we have a really cool updates with our engineers. And this is, by the way, version 4 of the studio. And version 5 is what we are launching very, very soon. Sam will give you more update. So now I would like to pass the mic back to Sheila and introduce Harry from NVIDIA.